Hello guys, this is Joshua Hawes. As you can tell by the time video, we're going to be talking about WandaVision episode 8. There was like so much to talk about. It's the longest episode. It reveals the most in terms of just how this even happened. So there's a lot to go to. So let's just start from the beginning. So the show starts off with Agatha's origin story. It's kind of her. It looks like the witch trial because it took place somewhere in the 1600s. I can't remember the exact date, but it took place in the 1600s, and basically, it looks like they're gonna kill her for being a witch, but no, it's actually other witches who are gonna kill her for using dark magic. But it turns out she's quite good with the dark magic. She kind of pretty much kills all of them, including her mother. So fun. That's incredibly fun. I will just do these so they don't bother me and get it right into it. So, after that, we get back to modern day, and Wanda's trying to do magic, but she can't because she gets caught up because there's basic magic spells. It turns out Scarlet is a witch instead of like an enhanced human, which was the idea kind of created in the past, which is interesting, especially with what we learned later on. So, she's like, you gotta come with me to past events. We're gonna see how you were able to do this, and we will think, and so I can find out how you did this to see how I can do this. She doesn't want to, but then she reminds her, like, girl, I've got your kids. She's like, okay, I'll go in. So it starts off with her childhood with her parents, and they're about to watch sitcoms. Like, it turns out the reason why this whole world is sitcom is because that was something Wanda had always watched for her entire life. That kind of personality, like just loving sitcom because it's a kind of an escape from reality. So, and it literally uses all the sitcoms that the WandaVision show inspired, and then they decided to watch this show called the Dick Van Dyke Show, I think it's called. A nice black and white show. It feels quite nice when the bomb comes in, and it looks like she ended up using her powers to disarm the other bomb so they could live. They thought it was just not activated, but it turns out she stopped it by the scheme of things with her powers. Then they go off to Hydra, where they have her in the testing, and even when she's not being tested, she's once again watching a sitcom. And so yeah, they then so after that they kind of get a test just with the Mind Stone, like a test, and the person with Baron Shocker was like, no one survived it. He's like, whatever. So, and she somehow survives. Like, it becomes the orange Mind Stone, because that's what it is, but it comes like that for a second, and we see the silhouette of Scarlet Witch. Like, I know that's her, but the outfit, we see that silhouette that we see earlier on in the show. So that actually came from her mind, which was like really interesting. So that was kind of a lot to unpack there. Then the next time we go is a situation where her brother just died, and it's the first interaction in the timeline between Vision and Wanda, and it's just an incredibly beautiful scene. They're watching sitcoms as well. I think Vision said something, what is grief if love doesn't persevere, or something that like it be like and it kind of created the question of, because he was the only person that could help her cope with the grief, what's gonna happen when he's gone? So here's the verse. Then we get to the part when we think he's the scene where she's about to steal Vision's body, because it turns out that Hayward guy, I think he's called, he's just more of a terrible person than we first originally know, because we find out she didn't even steal the body. So she just wants to have Vision be buried. She just wants Vision to be buried. Hayward's like, look, you can't. And it turns out that he basically reused the footage to make it look like she stole the body when she didn't. So yeah, that's interesting. And she just wants to bury him because that's what he deserves. Vision, and Hayward's like, look, I'm not gonna allow you to have like 3 billion worth of vibranium and just put it in the ground. And I'm just thinking, you know what? Maybe Wakanda was right to not open their resources to the rest of the world because vibranium. Maybe the Wakandans were actually right not to let us use it because Jonathan, my hero, he just wants to use it for power and just try and bring it back to life, but his own do it for himself. So he breaks through the glass, but she doesn't. So she just looks at it. She's quiet because she can't feel. She goes to Westview because there's a little place with a little like house property, and not saying it's great to be controlled by pretty much tortured by being controlled by a crazy witch, but that city looked dead. That town looked dead. Like it looked like a place you would not want to live. And she goes to the Alliance house. She opens up the little booklet thing, and it has a heart on the house saying and inside the house it says to grow old, V for Vision, which that's quite tough because it turns out where it seems like they want to just grow old and have a life in this house that they were going to build together. She absolutely loses it and power just comes scorching out of her. I don't even know how to pronounce it. She just absolutely mentally breaks down, and she creates the sitcom world by turning all black and white, and she uses that power to recreate Vision. Which I think that's why he doesn't have the memories of his past, because it's not actually his body, it's just her power bringing him back. So it turns out he never stole the body, and he would lie to make us hate him even more. Fascinating. So, and that's kind of where that ends. Then we get into the almost show kind of setting, like you would in the actual recording show. Agnes is in her chair just clapping like, well done. And then she runs outside, we hear the kids, and Agnes is literally strangling her children with like a tight rope around their neck. She's like, this magic is chaos magic. You're Scarlet Witch. And we finally get her mentioning the name Scarlet Witch, which is actually a superhero name, but they've never been able to call her that due to the rights to Fox and stuff like that. Due to that, they just haven't been able to call her Scarlet Witch. Which is kind of really... Which I'm wondering, is that the reason why they kept her origin story vague for most of the MCU? Because they were waiting until they could have fully buy Fox? Because I assume they probably would have had plans by now. I think they had plans for a while. So they're waiting until they officially own the rights to Fox to basically to actually fully go into origin story. Because she felt like a more interesting and developed character in this than she has in the entire MCU, and she was kind of brilliant. So now she's finally going to be called Scarlet Witch. I'm not 100% sure now. Will she be the villain? Because I know this show's going to play a big role into Spider-Man 3, because it looks... Spider-Man No Way Home, it's now called, because it looks like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man are returning to reprise their role as Spider-Man, so the multiverse is going into chaos, like with the Quicksilver thing. And then those are going to lead into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, where Wanda is confirmed to be in the film. So, I don't know if they're going to ever be the villain, or if they haven't acknowledged that she's made a mistake and, like, they have to try and fix what trouble she made. Like, I do not know, but that's the good thing. Like, where does this show kind of go with Wanda afterwards? Because I kind of felt bad for her, but at the same time, nothing can quite excuse torturing humans. So, yeah, but overall, this was a fantastic episode. The best episode yet. And, yeah, before I forget, post-credit scene. So he has the body. He finds out because of her bringing back Vision that all she needs is a bit of her power. They have the drone that she destroyed, like with the missile and stuff. They have that, and they kind of inject the power into the Vision's body. And there's White Vision, where if you read the comics, White Vision is basically like Vision, but a more emotionless Vision. So she kind of just doesn't have any emotions, kind of just does what he's told. So he's basically Evil Vision for the finale, which apparently is 50 minutes long. And there was a lot of questions answered, but there's also a lot to tie up and see how this builds the impact on the future of the MCU. There's a lot they've done well and great, but a lot of questions were answered in this, which you kind of need to because I was sorry, because they kind of needed to answer those questions, otherwise it would just be here like episode 9 like. So you got to conclude the show, because I doubt they're going to do a season 2. I think it's just a one-off season, but who knows. So you got to close off the show and then find out what happened. Like, and I'm just thinking, how are they going to end that one episode? There's even a rumour now, because you just think, how are they going to end it? There's actually going to be a secret episode 10. And they, at the end of, in the post-credit series, says WandaVision continues in the finale episode 10 or something like that. To be honest, if that happened, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it will, because I know the week after episode 9, there's going to be the behind-the-scenes for WandaVision. And then the week after that, Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts, unless they decide to push those releases back a week, then I doubt it. But I'm genuinely curious to see how this show ends, what this means for the MCU building forward. Of course, Black Widow hasn't come out yet, but that was originally going to be the start for Phase 4. To be honest, I think this is probably a better start for Phase 4, because the problem with Black Widow, even before, like, I was still really looking forward to the film. I think it's going to be great. I think it will be great when I get to see it. But I was also kind of thinking, like, but how is this film movie based in the past going to affect the future, apart from a post-credit scene? This really feels like a good way to start it off, and I'm happy that they started it off with WandaVision. So overall, those are my thoughts on episode 8. I'll give you my final thoughts on the show next week, which, unless it does something incredibly bad to mess this up, which I doubt, then you probably know how I feel. So far, I would say this is the best episode of WandaVision yet. It's fantastic, and that's all I have to say. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, turn notifications on to never miss video. I see you all in the next one. Bye.